I'm Jacob Seelman.
And I'm Tom Baker.
You're listening to Speed 77 Radio,
powered by Race Chaser Online.
We are your home for motorsports.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. I am Tom Baker, your host for the evening, along with my co-host for tonight. That would be our producer, bringing him out from behind the glass once again so he can join us at the round table for this evening. As our normal co-host Kyle Souza once again off tonight, we have Jacob Seelman with us. And Jacob, first of all, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Tom. Glad to be back. I don't know who approved Kyle being off tonight. I certainly didn't. I guess, though, he does have some other obligations. Glad to fill in, certainly. We got a lot to talk about. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is going to definitely be a full show. We actually have a triple header for the folks to check out tonight. We are going to talk with Clint King a little bit later on the program. Clint is an ARCA Series driver is what he is probably best known as, but next year Clint's going to do something a little different. He's given us a sneak preview, and we're going to hear from him a little later on about his 2014 plans, and it is definitely going to be a big season for Clint come next year. We're also going to talk with Ronnie Bassett. You had a chance to talk with Ronnie a little bit earlier in the week about his season this year and his plans for 2014, so we'll be hearing about that as well. But first, Jacob, well, Snowball Derby last weekend, and what can you say about Chase Elliott? It really just one of those weekends for him. He went from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows.
Yeah, he did. I mean, there's not a whole lot that I can say that hasn't already been said. It's the roller coaster that is motorsports, and obviously Chase Elliott certainly seeing both sides of the proverbial coin, winning the Snowflake 100, winning both poles for the weekend, but of course after the Snowball Derby being disqualified in post-race tech, Eric Jones ultimately grabbing the win for the second straight year. So yeah, you hate it for Chase Elliott. You always hate it to see something come down to tech, but at the same time, Eric Jones, now a two-time winner of the Snowball Derby, certainly a great accomplishment for him, despite not leading a lap real strong the whole afternoon.
Yeah, it definitely was a really fantastic weekend right up until post-race tech. And, you know, we could spend a long time on this program going back and forth about the disqualification, but at the end of the day, there was a rule against tungsten. There was one piece of tungsten weight in the car. It was a mistake, but regardless of the situation, had to be disqualified once it was discovered in order to stay within the rules. So a tough break for Chase Elliott, but certainly a big weekend for him. And I know that you've got some stats in front of you that kind of go over the races themselves. I'll let you take a shot at that.
Certainly the Snowflake 100 was very interesting. 100 laps, multiple drivers taking turns up front, but the battle was really between Chase Elliott and John Hunter Nemechek. We've had John Hunter, of course, on the show back a month or so ago. John Hunter finishing second to Chase Elliott in that one. Elliott taking the lead for good with 5 laps to go and never really looking back after that. Started from the pole, new pro late model track record at 5 Flags, a 16.3, and Chase Elliott grabbing his third career Snowflake 100 victory. The Snowball Derby, of course, we said Elliott sits on the pole, new all-time super late model track record at 5 Flags, a 16.1 seconds. Elliott just shattered the old track record. During the race, led 233 of the 300 laps, of course, disqualified in post-race tech, so Eric Jones gets the win there. Never leads a lap on the afternoon, but even Chase Elliott, though, when he was out in front, it was still a competitive race. 8 lead changes between 5 different drivers. Daniel Hemrick had some time up front before he had his untimely problems. Guys like Grant Enfinger took a turn up front late in the race, who got passed for the quote-unquote win by Chase Elliott. It was a very interesting race. Bubba Pollard spent some time up front, but the story of the event really was the mechanical problems too and the attrition, because guys like Augie Grill, Bubba Pollard, Daniel Hemrick, Mike Garvey, all these guys who we expect to be up front challenging for the Snowball Derby victory, derailed by mechanical or engine woes throughout the entire 300 laps.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting couple of races, and the Snowball Derby is one of the most challenging all of the super late model races, and one of the hardest to win. Just a race that either seems to treat you very well or not well at all. But we did manage to catch up with Austin Terrio. Austin, of course, was the eventual, I believe, third place finisher here, and was a little surprised actually that he ended up finishing as well as he did, and you'll hear from him in this interview. Let's talk with Austin Terrio.
Austin, you had one heck of a Snowball Derby weekend. I know it was a little bit of a roller coaster from the inside, but boy, the results sure ended up good. Talk about the weekend for us.
Hey, Tom, it's great to be with you. I'm really proud of my guys. We had a pretty outstanding weekend. If you put everything in perspective, we spent the whole week there and had a great opportunity to test the weekend before, which I really think helped our performance. On Thursday, I was pretty confident in the car that we had. I thought we made some pretty big gains compared to the race that the race before at Pensacola. So putting the whole weekend in perspective, it's a really great finish, great opportunity to run up front with some of the best in the country. We qualified up front. The race went very well. The second part of the race, we struggled a little bit with a bad set of tires, but once we were able to put the third set of tires on, with 20 laps to go, we came back through the field, and there was an incident between two cars with the white flag. When the white flag was waving, and we were able to pass those two cars and come home with a top three finish, which is really great. I think you get the best in the country running in one location, so it's really great to be able to get a podium finish at the Snowball Derby.
Yeah, I imagine that I think it sounded like it was a little bit of a surprise to you that you actually ended up on the podium, but in all reality, there were points during the weekend when you certainly had a car capable of running there. It just seemed like maybe there were points where whether or not you made the wrong change or just something didn't work the way you thought it would, it was kind of a bit up and down there for you, especially on Sunday.
Yeah, we were up and down the speed charts in practice. Everybody's usually on a different tire or different laps on their tire, so it's really hard to judge how good of a car you actually have. The only thing you can base it on is just driver feedback and how good the car is actually driving. Sometimes I think speed, how fast the car is in practice, kind of sends us for a curveball because if you just base it on that, then who knows what everybody else is doing.
Right.
So I think you saw a lot of that this weekend, looking at the practice sheets. But like you said, we had a great qualifying effort. Just to qualify in the top 10 at that race is huge. Let alone there's some really good guys that didn't even make the show. I can name 5 on the top of my head right now. So it's great to be able to run up front. I have guys on my crew that are plenty capable of setting up cars and working on the racetrack or at the racetrack and putting out a good product. So it's great to be able to run up front with them and get them a good finish to end the year.
Yeah, it was a great run for you guys, and as you said, a great way to go out in 2013 because you've had some good runs, you've struggled a little bit. It's kind of been a little bit of an up and down year for you in some ways, but here these last couple races, you've really gotten. It's almost like you found something, and of course the Snowball is a crapshoot anyway. Like you said, the level of competition is unparalleled in super late model racing from this race because everybody's running it, and you get guys that come in from outside who don't normally run these things. But it seemed like you guys really, over the last few races, found something and just really found some speed.
Yeah, the tough part about that is there's so many different variables in stock car racing that it's not just how fast you are. There's so many other variables. You know, is there any mechanical issues? And that was one thing that we kind of struggled with middle part of the year. Was we knew that we were capable of running up front and we had the speed. We could never. We just ran into unforeseen circumstances and some things within our control and some without not in our control. So it was great to end the season on a high note. I know everybody at the team I was at this year, you know, they wanted to win races, and everybody had their head in the game. It's just, you know, every once in a while you run into a tough season or a tough couple races, and we had our fair share of ups and downs, but it was just great to finish out the year on a high note.
Well, as they say, if it were an exact science, everybody would be fast enough to win.
Yeah, it is science, but there's way more than science that goes into it.
Well, that's right. And then, like you said, there's a lot of variables, and it's tough sometimes because even the best teams go through slumps, and then you find some little thing that just like, wow, if we'd have seen this 4 weeks ago or whatever. Well, let's talk about next year a little bit. Do you have any solid plans yet for next year?
Well, Tom, you know, I was fortunate enough to be a part of Brad's development program this year and learned a lot, you know, the past 2 years with the program. You know, grateful for the opportunity. Next year's up in the air a little bit. You know, I'm still keeping my head up, and I got a good family and good support system behind me. So we're looking into 2014, knowing that there's going to be something good that's going to come out of it. But as of now, you know, we're still talking with a lot of different people, and hopefully we'll have some things to talk about in the near future. It's that's just the way auto racing is. There's usually a lot of times more unknown than there is known. So it's just part of how things are, and we're keeping positive and hoping and knowing at the same time that 2014 is going to be a great year.
And Tom, certainly he's got a lot to look forward to. Finished third in the Snowball Derby, and really the second half of this year is when things have started going right for Austin Theriault. Certainly he's learned a lot from the Brad Keselowski Racing stable, and I know you and I are both looking to see him back in a car next year. Hopefully they can get a deal put together, because he really does deserve another shot to make something of it next year. I really think he was just starting to hit his stride this year, and I think next season, if he can get one more shot at it, he might shock a lot of people.
I agree with you 100%, and I do believe that he will get another shot at it. I know that there are some things in the works, but nothing official yet, so it'll be interesting to see where Austin winds up. Certainly one of many young drivers with a whole lot of talent, and is someone who has certainly shown his worth, especially over the course of this season. So with that, we will take our first caution flag of the evening. When we get back, we will talk with Ronnie Bassett. And Ronnie going to talk to us about his 2014 plans. We will step aside for a moment and come right back. We'll have more of the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show here on Race Chaser Online and Speed 77 Radio right after these words.
For 17 years, Stock Car Steel has been a leading materials supplier to the racing industry. We're proud they're a motorsports content partner here at Race Chaser Online. The biggest names in NASCAR trust Stock Car Steel for raw materials such as carbon steel, chrome moly, DOM, aluminum, plastics, and much more. You can't build a race car without the basic materials, and Stock Car Steel is the place to get them. Don't forget to also visit Stock Car Steel's sister company, SRI Supplies, for racing and industry. SRI is the place to go for all your shop supply needs. Nuts, bolts, rivets, tapes, adhesives, cutting tools, chemicals, body shop supplies, paint shop supplies, lubricants, and more. A well-stocked race shop is a winning race shop, and the path to winning begins with 3 letters, SRI. For more information, visit stockcarsteel.com or SRI-supplies.com. Check them both out on Facebook or call them toll-free at 1-888-752-7272, 1-888-752-7272.
Packers,
Vikings,
Red State,
Blue State.
We come from different places.
Uptown. downtown.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty,
Half full.
But no matter how different we are, we're all connected, and we can all make a difference. That's why United Way brings people, expertise, and resources together to improve the education, income, and health of our communities, the building blocks for a better life. When we live united, our efforts, magnified by others, add up to real change. Children succeed in school, families gain financial stability, the health of our neighbors improves, and suddenly, so do our communities. But real change won't happen without you.
Live united.
So let's look beyond our differences.
Live united.
One by one, let's make a difference. Let's reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all.
Live united.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Sign up today at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
I'm Jacob Seelman.
And I'm Tom Baker,
You're listening to Speed 77 Radio.
powered by Race Chaser Online.
We are your home for motorsports.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Report on Speed 77 Radio and Race Chaser Online, but certainly I'm not the voice you're looking for, so I'll turn it back over to the head of the round table tonight and our host, Tom Baker.
All right, thanks, Jacob. Well, just want to have to pass it right back to you because, of course, our next guest is the young man that you and I have both talked to several times this year. Certainly, Ronnie Bassett has had a tremendous couple of seasons in the late models, and this year ventured up into the NASCAR Can Pro East Series and made his debut, ran a couple of races in that series, and certainly, no doubt, that in 2014 he is going to be a force to be reckoned with in that division. You had a chance to talk to him a little bit earlier on in the week.
Yeah, I did. Ronnie certainly has made a lot of strides. Just tore up the UARA ranks in 2013. Didn't run for the season-long championship. That honor went to his brother Dylan, but Ronnie still won 4 times on the UARA Tour this season. Over the past 3 years has won more than a dozen races on that tour, has been extremely strong, stepped up into the K&N East ranks a little bit this year too, kind of got his feet wet in preparation for a run at it in 2014. Had a great run going at Loudon, New Hampshire in September. Ended up with a top 10 finish there after running top 5 most of the day. Just kind of got caught up in somebody else's mess, but certainly showed the talent that he's capable of. Certainly proved a lot of his worth, and I think next year the move up may be exactly what the doctor ordered. Ronnie Bassett going to be a force to be reckoned with if all the pieces come together right for 2014.
Well, you got a chance to talk with him earlier in the week. Let's hear from Ronnie Bassett Jr.
Ronnie, first off, thank you for taking some time to talk with us here this afternoon. A markedly successful 2013 campaign for you. A lot of success. 4 trips to victory lane with the Stars, and a trip to victory lane just last weekend in the Thanksgiving Classic at Southern National Motorsports Park. High marks, high numbers for you. How do you grade your 2013 campaign?
First of all, thank you for allowing me on the show. You know, our season was up and down. We had a bunch of great runs, great finishes, and we were able to capitalize on 5 of them, like you mentioned. You know, we made some different stepping stones. We stuck our feet into the K&N East, running 3 or 4 races. You know, my brother did a fantastic job on winning the UARA Stars Championship this year, being the youngest one to ever win a championship as well. And like I said, me and him both combined in the UARA won over half the race. You know, it's a successful season. Most people are glad when they get 1 win, but we were fortunate enough to. I was fortunate enough to get 5 myself, and my brother was fortunate enough to get 2 or 3 or whatever it was. And you know, we're blessed to have do what we've done this year, and I just thank the Lord for it.
Over the last 3 years, you've had so much success on the UARA Stars Tour, something to the effect of 15 wins for this season. With all the numbers that you put up, I know 2014 coming up doesn't look like you're going to be running much, if any, with the Stars, but what have the last 3 years running that tour helped you with as far as marching your career forward, because you've had so much success?
It's definitely been a big help running the tour. It's helped me as a driver to be able to travel around to different racetracks and show up on Friday practices normally and get our car dialed in and get 2 short rounds Saturday morning. And like I said, it's a traveling series, so we're not always at the same place every weekend. And as a driver, it helps out a lot. The Cup guys, they're not at the same racetrack every weekend. They're always battling something new on the racetrack. Like I said, we probably won't be stepping much into it next year. We'll be more focused on our K&N stuff. And on our off weekends, we'll go and run with the big NASCAR late model guys and try to compete with them as far as in all the big races as Martinsville, Myrtle Beach, and the big races at Kinley and South Boston.
You stepped into the K&N ride this year, made your debut at Greenville Pickens, and ran 2 starts, one at Pickens and one at New Hampshire in September. Not the results you really were looking for after some solid qualifying efforts, but what did you learn running those East starts this season as you gear up now? Made the announcement not too long ago that you're looking to run the full K&N East schedule in 2014.
It's, we qualified, I think it's 14th at Greenville Pickens. We were sitting back riding, saving our equipment, and ended up having a motor failure 50 laps into the race. It's just unfortunate. We went to make all the laps and get a good start spot, which is we did. Had that happen, so it ended our day pretty early. Went to New Hampshire, and I think we qualified 14th as well. We ended up getting to a little wreck up off 2 when they all wrecked. Got a little piece of it and had to come down pit road. And while running in the top 5, it kind of ended our day there, but we stayed out and got a top 10 finish out of it. And it's, like I said, it's a different stepping stone. The cars are a lot more horsepower, a lot more weight, a lot more brakes. So it'll definitely be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. It'll be the first K&N team run out of Bassett Racing. It's going to be cool. My brother will probably run a few of them, and we'll try to progress it and get it like a big team.
You ran a couple of the Wheel and All-American Series, the big late model races here at the end of the season as well to really kind of put a cap on your 2013 campaign. Had very, very mixed results. It was almost feast or famine for you between Martinsville and Myrtle Beach, 2 finishes outside the top 30, but you come to Southern National to finish out the season for the Thanksgiving Classic, go from 7th to the win in your final start of 2013. How tough was it for you with the 2 big starts at Martinsville and Myrtle Beach to not have the results you wanted but not give up, to go to Southern National to finish the season and get the win?
Yeah, going into Martinsville, we had to miss a test to be able to run New Hampshire in the K&N. I feel like that was a little downfall there. My brother was able to go and test, and we had feedback off of him. But, we went and tested, or went to the race. We had an open day test, and we learned a lot that day. Like I said, thanked all my brother a lot on his stuff. We got the car rolling pretty good, and just back there hiding our time in the top 15 or whatever it was, and ended up getting into a little bang up and ended up overheating there halfway through the race and had to park it. Went to Myrtle Beach, qualified on the race. Had a really good race car there as well. And biding our time again, and just a misfortune that we ran it. Something broke and ended our day. And then going to Kinley, from where we started off in the season, was able to pick up our first win in the 2013 season. To end it there is pretty cool. We've been there 6 times in the past 2 years, won all 6 races. So it's definitely a cool place. I'm looking forward to going back there next year and having some more fun.
I'd say it's certainly fun if you find a track where you can just keep going to victory lane like you have at Kinley. As you said, 6 wins in 6 starts there across a couple of different divisions. So obviously a very strong run of success there continued in 2013 between both the UARA Stars and the Wheel and All-American Series. Looking forward to 2014 now. Obviously, you're shooting for the whole K&N East schedule, but what else can we expect out of Ronnie Bassett and Bassett Racing for 2014? Any other plans that you can clue us in on?
We'll probably, on our off weekends in the K&N stuff, we'll probably go run some big late model races. Go compete with my brother. Like I said, he'll be traveling around to all the big name racetracks, and we'll focus on the NASCAR stuff. And we'll go with him and just race and have some fun on them off weekends, but try to go and get some wins as well. Just looking forward to it, and I can't wait to see what 2014 holds as far as starts, finishes, and wins.
and certainly a lot of enthusiasm and momentum for you going into 2014. But I know you can't do it alone. No, you've had a lot of sponsors, supporters, people that have helped make it work for you across 2013. Who makes it happen for Ronnie Bassett?
My family, my mom and dad are the big two parts of it. They work day in, day out, making sure that me and my brother are able to do what we love to do and try to succeed or move forward in our racing career. I think almost people that work in the shop, Chris Lawson, Jessica, Jason Stanley, Larry, all of them, just any hands on the race cars make it worth it. And all the sponsors, Ring came on board this year. They were a big help. Rex Younger Art Galleries, Piggle, everybody. Just like I said, it's a team effort. Not just one person can do it. It takes everybody to get to victory lane.
And certainly Victory Lane, a place that you're looking to inhabit once again and even more frequently in 2014. Ronnie, thank you for taking some time to talk with us this afternoon. Congratulations on a very successful 2013 season, and we look forward to seeing all the best out of you come 2014 and hope you'll keep us posted as things start rolling.
I appreciate it, bud, and I thank you for having me on the show, and hopefully talk to you in the future.
And Bassett, very, very coy about what he thinks 2014 is going to hold. He's kind of holding the cards close to the vest right now as far as what his expectations are for the K&N East ride. But I'd imagine if it's anything, Tom, like the UARA Stars deal he's put together over the last 3 years, it would be very, very impressive.
Yeah, they have assembled quite a team of people there at Bassett Racing. They really have. I mean, they've got some outstanding young crew chiefs who really know what they're doing, and obviously Ronnie and Dylan are both fantastic drivers. It's really a situation where everybody really works well together too, and that's a big part of it. The chemistry that has developed between the two drivers and their respective crew chiefs has really become quite a positive thing for that group. So East is a big learning curve, but I think that they've got the intelligence and the knowledge to do it, and it should be fun to watch both of them transition over the course of the next year or two. And I think we've got Dylan actually lined up for next week's program, so it'll be interesting to hear about his plans for 2014. Meanwhile, we're going to throw a second caution flag of the evening. When we come back, we're going to switch gears a bit and find out about what Clint King has planned for 2014. Clint is a young driver who made a name for himself all the way from Bandoleros and Legends through the NASCAR-type late models, and had some strong runs in the ARCA Series for Venturini Motorsports. Next year, Clint's got a little something different on tap, and he's given us a Race Chaser Speed 77 radio exclusive. You'll hear it right after these words. We'll be back with a Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports show on Race Chaser Online and Speed 77 Radio right after this.
For 17 years, Stock Car Steel has been a leading materials supplier to the racing industry. We're proud they're a motorsports content partner here at Race Chaser Online. The biggest names in NASCAR trust Stock Car Steel for raw materials such as carbon steel, chrome moly, DOM, aluminum, plastics, and much more. You can't build a race car without the basic materials, and Stock Car Steel is the place to get them. Don't forget to also visit Stock Car Steel's sister company, SRI Supplies, for racing and industry. SRI is the place to go for all your shop supply needs. Nuts, bolts, rivets, tapes, adhesives, cutting tools, chemicals, body shop supplies, paint shop supplies, lubricants, and more. A well-stocked race shop is a winning race shop, and the path to winning begins with 3 letters, SRI. For more information, visit stockcarsteel.com or SRI-supplies.com. Check them both out on Facebook or call them toll-free at 1-888-752-7272, 1-888-752-7272.
I'm Jacob Seelman.
And I'm Tom Baker.
You're listening to Speed 77 Radio,
Powered by Race Chaser Online.
We are your home for motorsports.
Welcome back to the Stock Car Steel SRI Motorsports Show. Tom Baker along with Jacob Seelman, and we are rocking through a half hour of motorsports news and interviews here this evening. Talked about Snowball Derby, heard from Austin Terrio, and then we talked a little bit about NASCAR late models and heard from Ronnie Bassett Ronnie's going at K&N Pro Series East racing next year. At least that's the intention. I'm quite sure that Dylan will be shortly behind him if everything comes together the way they wish it would. We are going to talk about young Clint King now. Clint, an 18-year-old from the Thomasville, North Carolina area who has made a mark for himself running in the ARCA series over the last year or two, driving for Venturini Motorsports. Clint took most of this year off, just did a few selected late model races and was kind of putting things together for 2014. He's about to give us an exclusive. Let's listen to Clint King.
At the Charlotte Auto Racing Show, talking with Clint King. Clint is here representing his new company, King Oil Products, but also has had some real developments on the driver's side. First of all, Clint, let's talk about the driving part of Clint King's resume for 2014. You're going East Racing.
Yeah, that's right. We're getting back in the seat finally. It feels like it's been a while. We've been doing some pick and choose races here and there the past 2 years, really, here and there, and some ARCA, and ran an East race this year. But based on what we saw in the East Series when I ran early this year, we really like the series and the way it's laid out, and the organizational structure of the series. And it's a little more cost effective for us to run the East route versus ARCA. So we are, Clint King Motorsports as a team, we're actually embarking on our own deal to try to run the full pull in 2014 at K&N Pro Series East.
Can you give us some specifics on what you're doing as far as organizing the team and all that, how that's going to work out for you?
Yeah, we're actually in the process of trying to finalize our personnel right now. We were fortunate enough to come across some good equipment here at the end of the year, and we're fully equipped with cars and backup cars and pit equipment and everything. We're getting it all together, so we're in really good position going into the off season, be able to go test and do a little bit of development for us and team structuring as far as getting our personnel on board. But trying to finalize everything here by the end of the year. I know we're going East racing. That's pretty much all we got right now, and we'll be at Smyrna and Daytona. But other than that, we're still ironing the final little kinks out of everything and getting our personnel nailed down, and hopefully have a full-blown announcement by the end of the year.
Well, it sounds exciting, and it's going to be good to see you back in the seat after so much time off, and I'm sure you're pretty anxious to get back, too.
Oh, absolutely. I'm chomping at the bit just to test right now. I'm ready to go probably head to Motor Mile or somewhere like that to get a full day of testing in and try to develop our equipment and get as much notice as we can before the season kicks off there, and I guess it's February now, so we're kind of anticipating on March, so and the NASCAR release that we're going to be running Smyrna in February, so that tightens up our time frame a little bit, but with a good group of people behind us and some hard work and probably some late nights at the shop, we'll get it ready and we'll be ready to go racing.
You're used to that.
Absolutely, that's for sure.
Been doing it since you were, what, like 10 or 12?
Yeah, pretty much after, since late model, about 13 is when I pretty much was at the shop 24/7. So, but I would get bored any other way. I don't like showing up at the racetrack and not having hands on the car before it gets there. I like being able to put them together and work on them. That's a lot of fun for me, and it makes it a lot more worthwhile when you have a good result at the end of the day.
Now you're how old now?
I'm 18.
You turned 18, so basically you're legal for whatever you have the opportunity to run.
Yeah, we're trying to get back in the seat full time next year because I know time is imperative at this age. I know I got probably 2-3 years here window to make something happen, so I got to get back in the seat and get up front and make some impressions and hopefully get in front of the right people and get the right partners behind me and try to make something happen. We're really shooting towards 2015 to move up into one of the top 3, and that's the main goal right now. As long as 2014 goes as planned and I'm able to accomplish what I want to, we're going to look at hopefully putting together a deal in one of the top 3 in 2015. So a lot of good things in the works. Just got to make it happen.
And would you do that as Clint King Motorsports, or are you looking just to obviously be signed by somebody else? What are you looking at right now, Clint?
Well, it's we got a couple options there, and one of them is actually looking at developing our own team.
Okay.
To run more of the truck level. We have looked at that, but all that's early development stages. We just got to focus on this East deal. And Clint King Motorsports as a whole, what we're looking at is trying to grow our team as an organization and hopefully get some drivers on board to do the East schedule again the following year after I leave the seat on the East side. Trying to develop the team with me in the seat so we can have a good package for some up-and-coming drivers and love to kind of get our hands on the driver development side. I think it's a big industry in this sport now, and just based on my experience with some teams here and there that I've been involved with just like running a business with King Oil, customer service is top of the line. If you got good customer service and your drivers are happy that you got in the seat, they're gonna keep coming back, and they're gonna recommend you to competitors. So I think there's a niche market there for sure.
For the young drivers who are listening to this, notice how Clint segued into the business side before the reporter asked him the question. That's just a hint. So, Clint, now that we've gone there, let's talk about King Oil Products. How did it start? What is it? And give us the scoop.
Yeah, King Oil started back in February of this year. We're a really young company, and this is actually our first trade show. We just, that backdrop and these shirts and everything came in, I think, Tuesday of this week. So we were last minute getting everything ready to go for the show here, but it's been going pretty well this year. Lucas Oil was a product sponsor of mine for about 2 years now, and we were approached by the sales rep that I dealt with on the sponsorship side to do a distributorship. We moved into a new warehouse, had some space, and they basically said, "Hey, you got some space. It looks like you can hold some oil here and try to sell it for us." So that's basically what happened. We signed on as a distributor for Lucas Oil. That's going pretty well. We have a good product line. Like anything with a new company, it's really important to market it and promote it as much as you can here in the first couple of years, and use the contacts that you already have, especially with me being involved in motorsports. Had a pretty good well of contacts, so I'm using that to my advantage, and trying to sell as much oil as I can here at the show, try to get some big leads so I can do some more races in 2014.
I imagine you're getting some good lessons in time management with all this going on too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
maybe a little asleep.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, it's my dad said I'm actually working with my dad a little bit too in his company in the storage rack systems, and during the day I install rack, and if I get a chance in there, I'm on the phone trying to sell some oil, and maybe after 5-6 o'clock I get to go to the race shop and work till 12 or 1 on that stuff. So it's definitely full time, and we actually ended up with a Renegade toter home, and I think I'm just going to move my clothes and everything into that. And when I get done at the shop, I'm probably just going to go out there and sleep and wake back up and start at it the next morning.
Well, Clint, it's certainly good to see you out at the trade shows with the new company. It's nice to see that moving up, and it's great to see you being back in the seat again for 2014. I know this year was a little more sparse. Talk a little bit about what you did do this year, just for those who might not have been paying attention.
Yeah, we ran a couple late model races. We actually put together a new late model last winter, and once again, a little disappointed with how that turned out. We actually have a pretty good late model car now. It's just the personnel on board, and we started to realize that it wasn't going to be advantageous of our time or money to put a lot of effort into a late model stock car. We ran Richmond with Denny Hamlin's charity event up there, and we actually had a pretty good showing up there. The best late model stock cars in the area run up there, and we ended up, I think we ran 11th up there, but a lot of really good competition. We had a great car. It was just such a short race. There wasn't so much we could do after had a little qualifying mishap. And we ran a couple select late model events, and ended up running the K&N East race at Bowman Gray, and also ran one ARCA start last year at Berlin for the Venturini group, and that went pretty decent. We had a 6th or 7th place up there, so it's tough. The competition level so high, it's tough to just jump in the seat without any testing like I did for the East race and the ARCA race. And these guys are on the mark every week, and it's tough to jump in the seat like that and expect to perform top level when the technology changes day to day. So I'm looking forward just to be in a good, consistent seat that we're going to have control over. We're going to know what's going into that car and exactly how much time and effort's being put into it. So nobody to blame but ourselves if we don't perform.
Well, Clint, congratulations on all of the new stuff you got going, the King Oil Products Company, and also, of course, all of the new racing that you're going to be doing. Good luck in the East Tour. We look forward to staying in touch with you.
Absolutely. Appreciate it and look forward to it.
And certainly Clint King made an impression on me a couple years ago when he 2 years ago now, I think it was, when he was making multiple short track starts for the Venturinis in the ARCA car. Turned a lot of heads then. I know, obviously, like you said, Tom, this year it's been sparse getting behind the wheel, but I, for one, am extremely glad to see that he's going to be back in a race car for 2014. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think there are going to be some guys that may be surprised at how quickly it comes back to him when we get the first couple races under our belt for 2014 for Clint King.
Yeah, of course, he'll do some testing before then. Still a few details to be ironed out here, but as you heard him say, they've acquired a few race cars, a couple of motors, and just a really good program, honestly. Still finalizing some of the personnel and putting some of the pieces in place, but they do expect to start testing fairly soon, and he does plan to be at Daytona and Smyrna, so it should be very interesting to see how Clint does. And I agree with you. I think Clint certainly, you've made a couple of starts this year with I believe it was with Randy McDonald in the East Series, and certainly did again show that he belonged there. It's just a matter of being in the right situation and with the right people, and I think Clint's going to do just fine. He certainly is a driver to watch over the next couple of years to see if he can ascend up the ladder into one of NASCAR's big three. And with that, Jacob, already time to close here. A little overtime tonight, in fact, but always fun to do on a special Wednesday night edition. We will be back next Thursday. Dylan Bassett will be among the drivers we will feature on our show next Thursday. A lot of good stuff coming up, actually, on our final show of the year. It should be a good one. We hope that you'll tune in. In the meantime, Jacob and I will be back on Tuesday for our final 2013 edition of Motorsports Madness. So stay tuned for details of that. We will, of course, be back right here on our live stream feed, Speed 77 Radio, powered by Race Chaser Online. We want to thank the folks from Stock Car Steel SRI for being so supportive this year. We look forward to taking them into the 2014 season as well here on the Motorsports Show. And with that, we say so long, everybody. We hope you all have a great week, and join us on Tuesday night for our final edition of Motorsports Madness right here on Race Chaser Online and Speed 77 Radio. Thanks, everybody, and good night.